Peyton Manning has regained the quarterback position.
All we have is right now. All we have is right now.
Look who's back, ready to go. Ben Roethlisberger trots onto the field.
Coach came to me, asked me if I could do it. Said I'll give everything I got.
Sometimes you just feel as that the team's looking around for that guy, that leadership.
And we kind of looked at each other and I said, now or never.
If you lose, you go home. That should be your motivation.
A nasty collision to the end zone. Roethlisberger in zone bound.
Caught for the touchdown. Throwing sideline. Breaks to the end zone. That is a touchdown.
What a catch.
Gotta go home.
Divisional weekend stops here in Denver for the Steelers and the Broncos, the winner to face New England next Sunday for the AFC Championship. Welcome, friends. Jim Nantz along with the Super Bowl MVP quarterback Phil Simms. A lot of question marks out here, Phil. Starting with Ben Roethlisberger, that shoulder that has ligament damage, a bone bruise. We've been watching him warm up. What have you seen?
Saw everything I needed to see in warm-ups. How can he take hits? Well, we'll find out. But he threw the football with power. He lobbed a couple with ease over 50 yards. So I think the arm is going to be good enough to start this game.
Of course, he's going to be without Antonio Brown. Did not pass the concussion protocol. So who steps up and what must Pittsburgh do to win this game?
Big thing. All those receivers, they always want the ball. They're very deep with talent at the wide receiver position in Pittsburgh. But the difference today is Antonio Brown's not getting double covered. You're going to have to do it today on your own. We'll see if they can beat tight man-to-man coverage and help this Pittsburgh offense move.
Question marks about the Broncos. Peyton Manning getting his first start in 63 days. He told us on Friday he's healthier than he's been at any point this season, including week 1. In fact, probably going back to somewhere mid last season, the last time he was this healthy. What have you seen? What do you expect?
Well, in practice, I thought he looked sharp. Threw the ball with the power, as we know that Peyton Manning can, his kind of power. But we could tell by his body language when he talked to him, very confident in what he has to do here today. And what has he got to do here today? Not turn it over. Because if Pittsburgh's going to win, their defensive linebackers got to be in position to make those dynamic plays to give their team a chance.
All right, this game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. Steelers, Broncos coming up. We're back in Denver. We're glad to have Tracy Wolfson down on the sidelines today. Tracy, down to you.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Ben told us yesterday if this was a regular season game, he would not be playing. So how confident are you that he could be effective with that shoulder?
I'm confident. I've been with Ben in a lot of circumstances. I know the type of competitor he is. He understands the gravity of this moment. You wouldn't want anybody else playing quarterback for you.
No Antonio Brown. How do you overcome his loss?
You know, we're aware of our warts and shortcomings. This is the ultimate team game, and we have to prove that with how we play collectively.
Appreciate the time. Good luck.
You know it.
Thank you, Tracy. Very telling that Coach Tomlin decided to sit down Mike Vick today. So they have only 2 quarterbacks dressed. Ben will be backed up by Landry Jones, and if there was high question around the Pittsburgh locker room, if Ben could go the duration, you would have thought Vick would be up.
Yeah, you would think that, but I think Friday's practice, we talked about it a couple times already, Jim, that Ben Roethlisberger threw enough passes with power down the field that made everybody go, yes, we like what we see.
Denver deferred, so the kick by McManus driven to the corner of the end zone to Wheaton, and that'll bring out Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh offense at the 20. Been in this spot in the divisional round undefeated, 4-0. Once having been matched up against a Peyton Manning-led team. That was 10 years ago. And Roethlisberger and the Steelers won in Indianapolis on their way to taking Super Bowl 40. As you see, the rest of their lineup that takes the field here for the first snap. They've got 2 tight ends with Miller and Spaeth. Toussaint, the starting running back, who stepped up last week in the win against Cincinnati, had over 100 yards from scrimmage. Right away, he's going to show him his arm right up the top. In fact, overthrows Marcus Wheaton. And that pass flew over 50 yards in the air.
It went a long way. He checks to this play because he saw a defense that gave Marcus Wheaton one-on-one coverage. And just like we saw in warm-ups, compact motion, very smooth. Saw him throw quite a few down the field, distance and power. So that maybe puts a little thought into different defense head.
What a statement, though. Hey, if you're wondering, can I go downfield? Let me show you with the very first play. 2nd and 10 and handoff Todman. And he is met by Wolf after 2. This Denver defense led the league this year in total defense. #1 against the pass. Also best in the league when it comes to sacking the quarterback.
Well, Wade Phillips said week 15 we matched up all the receivers with defensive backs. They were running around everywhere, and he goes, it was a huge mistake. They will not do that today. Everybody will play the receiver that comes to their side. And I expect them to play a little softer. In other words, give the underneath throws more than they usually do to keep Pittsburgh from getting those big plays.
Quick toss over to Wheaton, and he is hit right away by T.J. Ward, who was not active for the game a month ago in Pittsburgh. Ward knocks him back for a loss of 2. It'll be 3 downs on a punt for Pittsburgh.
It gives this Pittsburgh defense so much more, Denver's defense so much more confidence. They got their safeties in there. They made big mistakes against Ben Roethlisberger in the first game, gave up plays down the field. Tried to double team Antonio Brown, made a mistake. So different game plan here today so far for Denver's defense.
Little high snap. Barry able to field it. Bolden is the returner. Lets it bounce once. And now brings it to the near side. Got a good block. He's got a brigade in front of him. And Bolden still going on his feet to the 30. And Talib is there to let him know that that's a joke for the Broncos side by the returner Omar Bolden.
When you're undermanned and you're playing away from home, you got to do a couple things. Of course, not turn the football over, and you hope to win the special teams battle. What a return by Bolden.
42-yard return by Bolden, who was also inactive in the game at Pittsburgh. He was out with a hamstring injury for that one. So now from the 30, Manning and the Broncos begin. Pass to Thomas. Stiff arm on Boykin and goes out of bounds. He's got a first down. Picks up 11. Peyton Manning getting his 25th career playoff start. 2nd most all time. Only trailing Tom Brady, who he hopes to meet up with next Sunday for the AFC title.
Peyton Manning picking the tempo up right away. Thought he would. Why do you do this? To keep the defense from having time to do something complicated like blitz you.
Out of an empty backfield. He's got another open man, and Thomas this time unable to hold on to it. He was looking back into the sun, but even Demaryius Thomas admits that he always opens games jittery. As you see on the field, Hillman, the running back. Sanders, who had a big game at Pittsburgh. 10 catches, 181 yards in that one, the former Steeler. 2nd and 10.
Omaha! Said hi!
And they go with Hillman, who reverses course. Boykin, for the 2nd time, he has to absorb a stiff arm, but makes the tackle after a gain of 5.
Number 91, Stephon Tuitt, makes the run go back the other way. And to have a chance here today for this Steelers defense, that front group, Stephon Tuitt, McClendon, Cameron Hayward, they must stop the run themselves to free up everybody else. So tough task for the defensive line of the Steelers.
C.J. Anderson comes in for Denver. 3rd and 5 from the 14. Steeler defense has been exceptional in the red zone this year, forcing takeaways and getting sacks. But a quick pass here to Anderson. He's bounced out by Shazier short of the first, couple of yards short of the first.
Yep, the speed of Shazier, you saw at that time, Jim. He was at the linebacker position. Peyton Manning saw it was man-to-man, but Shazier so fast, able to get out there, make the tackle. and keep Denver short of the first down.
4th and a long one. They're going to go for the field goal with Brandon McManus, who converted 30 of 35 this year and didn't miss from inside 40. This is from 28. And a quick 3 it is for Denver, coming off the long return by Bolden to set it up. On Super Bowl Sunday, Pepsi presents the biggest concert of the year, the Pepsi Super Bowl 50 halftime show. And for the first time ever, Pepsi's giving fans exclusive behind-the-scenes access as the show comes together. Go to Pepsi.com for details. And McManus delivers a second touchback. And we go immediately down to the field. Tracy.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim. After that last drive, Roethlisberger came off the field. He grabbed a glove for his throwing hand, started warming up on the sidelines. He told us in meetings this week he may wear a glove because of the shoulder, but he also usually only wears it in the wind. During pregame, there was very little wind when he was warming up. It has picked up considerably, Jim.
Yes, it's going to his right, if you will, across the field at about 14. And tell me about this glove, Phil, from his perspective.
I'm surprised he didn't start the game with it. Tracy, great observation. It wasn't windy. What it does, it helps him throw the ball with more power, and he can spin it more. When you spin it, it cuts through the wind.
Just going to dump this one off, bobbled, but then caught. And then for a loss, Toussaint backed up 1. Wolf was there along with Ware. And that injury suffered at Cincinnati happened on this play right here. Bone bruise, and even admitting to ligament damage in that throwing shoulder. They've numbed the shoulder. They experimented with it on Friday in practice after he did not practice all week long. Friday they had to kind of give him a game-like reality in a situation of what it would look like.
And it looked good. And I think it gave the coaches, the players, but also the big thing, gave Roethlisberger confidence.
Here's the handoff to Todman. And he is pushed out by Darian Stewart.
You know, you talk about this game, Mike Tomlin, always great to talk to him the night before the game. What did he say last night? All the injury. He goes, look, we've been on life support a long time, so we're really comfortable in a situation like this. What's he mean? They're missing so many key players, especially on the offensive side.
He continues to lead the league in new phraseology, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He's amazing. The way with words. 3rd and 8. Roethlisberger's first 2 completions have both gone for negative yardage. And here is, with a little bit of pressure, as an open man, it's Coates. And look at Sammy Coates. The rookie from Auburn gets shoved by Harris, and that just accelerates him for another 10 yards.
They switched the receivers at the line of scrimmage. It gave Coates some distance to run with, and we haven't seen him all year. Well, because they're so deep at the receiver position, but we were told, look out, and you could see big and the speed right there to get all the extra yards.
I have not heard so many superlatives about a player who seldom saw action in the regular season, maybe ever, by the way they delivered testimonial after testimonial about Sammy Coates, who had 1 catch in the regular season on a Thursday night game against Baltimore. That one goes for 37. And Marshall is there with the quick hit on Todman. Holds him to 1. Never miss a playoff moment with the CBS Sports app. Every play, every score from the divisional playoffs through the championship. Download the CBS Sports app now at cbssports.com/mobile. Sammy Coates, drafted in the 3rd round out of Auburn. And perhaps he'll be the X factor they're going to need without Antonio Brown.
Good point. Mike Tomlin says he's done it in practice against our defense for the last 6 weeks. Unbelievable. He goes, can he take it to the game, what he's done in practice?
2nd and 9, and across the middle, Bryant unable to hold on to it.
Martavis Bryant, big, fast. I mean, he can run. Watch what he does to Aqib Talib. Just a fake outside. And why did Aqib Talib turn and run? Because you worry about the speed of number 10. Good throw. Got to make that catch.
It comes off a game where he had one of the all-time circus catches you'll ever see.
But so far, just looking at it, no Antonio Brown. Couple instances, big separation by these wide receivers against the defensive backs of the Denver Broncos.
3rd and 9 for Pittsburgh, residing at the Denver 40. Pump fake, and now the toss. Near the first down is Wheaton. Going to be about a half-yard shy.
They do so many different things. Top of the screen to Ben Roethlisberger's left. He's moving that shoulder around, throw it off balance, can make it hurt. But they're changing the receivers. They're switching positions as the ball is snapped, and that makes the defensive back hesitate. So that's how they picked up a couple big 3rd downs. Todd Haley, their playbook, like New England's, like
they're going
the
for it here,
Cardinals. Sorry, Jim. Lots of things to go for.
4th and less than 1. They brought in Spaeth and James as extra tight ends. And now they call the timeout.
You know, it was so close. I actually thought it was a 1st down, and it's a good, almost a yard short.
Ball's marked at the 32. It would be about a 50-yard field goal attempt if they went Boswell, but they've got the offense huddling on the sideline.
Yeah, you know, listen, you got to play it aggressive, I think, when you're the Pittsburgh Steelers here today. And the one thing that you got to look out for, they could not run the ball at all against this Denver defense in week 15, Jim. It was a struggle. Malik Jackson, 97 on defense. He single-handedly stopped the run game for the Denver defense. He destroyed the offensive line. They couldn't do anything.
And of course, they had D'Angelo Williams for that game, who's out again with that foot injury. That day against the likes of Malik Jackson, Pittsburgh rushed for only 23 yards on 17 carries.
Taking a long time. I do like this decision. I think you got to be aggressive if you're Mike Tomlin. You got to steal some points, maybe a possession with some type of play as the game goes on.
They bring James into the backfield, 4th and 1. A little play action. Roethlisberger goes down the field, and it is knocked away. Broken up at the last moment by Talib. Looked like Wheaton might have a play on the football. They went for the end zone on 4th and 1, and Talib covered up the ground and made the play. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. McDonald's celebrating the NFL playoffs with all breakfast. And by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Be ready for anything winter throws at you, including wild horses back here in Bronco land, where Denver has just stopped Pittsburgh on a 4th and 1. From under center, and play action. Manning's pass, dumping it off here to Owen Daniels.
Well, couple things. Not surprised they throw it because they're worried about running the football. Watch Heath Miller as he comes across. It's looking the flat. Watch DeMarcus Ware. They missed the block. Heath Miller's uncovered, but Ben Roethlisberger saw his receiver get behind Talib. He took a chance. Good play by Talib, getting his hand up in there, knocking the football away.
2nd and 6. Back to the gun for 2nd down, and it's Hillman, their leading rusher on the season. He's got 5. They've got a nice 1-2 punch here with Hillman and Anderson, both backs over 700 yards on the season. How much will they emphasize the ground game today?
Oh, they want to do this for lots of reasons. One, protect their offensive line. What I mean by that, Jim, is just don't get in obvious passing situations because they struggle protecting a quarterback, and you would especially against a fast defense like Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh's going to play pass defense and dare you to run the football.
Will Allen, the strong safety for Pittsburgh, limped to the sideline, and look at this play. Goes nowhere for Hillman.
Yep, we saw that in practice on Friday.
Yep.
Peyton Manning trying to be a decoy for the run game, but no, James Harrison, 92, right around the edge, so quick, so fast. And this linebacking core, you're talking about modern day, what you want to see in a linebacking core. They have it here in Pittsburgh. Size, speed, defensive end, linebacker. They can do whatever you want.
That's Britton Colquitt with the punt. Down to Wheaton, who runs away from it. Is that tapped back into play? Oh, what a play down the field. Kayvon Webster tapped it back into the field of play. 57-yard punt.
Two big special teams play by Denver so far in this game.
Cleanly done, too. Omar Bolden was helped to the sideline, but here's a spot right here where they miss Antonio Brown. Marcus Wheaton had never returned a punt in his NFL career. He could have put a body here on Webster.
Could have blocked him. He did not signal for a fair catch, so probably had no idea that he could go over and do that. So big mistake by Pittsburgh. Again, good special teams by Denver.
From the 3, Toussaint runs over center for 5. Tuesday on CBS, can the pill that makes him the FBI's smartest agent help them stop a killer? Catch a new Limitless Tuesday at 10, 9 Central, only CBS.
You know, one of the things that Denver and Wade Phillips wants to do, they want to change what they did the first time they played, or when they played week 15 of the season. They want to sit back and make Ben Roethlisberger read the defense more instead of just playing man-to-man. Because if he has to read the defense an extra second, they think their pass rush can get there.
Here's a 2nd and 5 from the 8. And that's a throwaway in the direction of Bryant. Roethlisberger 4 out of 8 for 42 yards, but 37 coming on the one pass to Sammy Coates.
Well, as I look at this crowd noise, 3rd down, obvious passing situation. I asked the coaches about their offensive line. They said, we did it in Seattle. They're pretty good at rushing the passer and loud.
That's going to move him back. Looked like Villanueva, left tackle.
False start. Offense, number 78. Half the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
We got an injury update from Tracy down on the sideline. Trace?
Well, Jim, right now, I just got word from Pittsburgh linebacker Arthur Moats questionable with a pectoral strain. You saw Will Allen hobble to the sideline with a right knee. He was looked at briefly and told Mike Tomlin he's okay to go back in. I'll get you an update on Omar Bolden as soon as I get it.
Right. Sets up now. Thank you, Trace. 3rd and 9. As they step it off back half the distance to the 4.
Pittsburgh look at number 73, Ramon Foster, taps the center.
Roethlisberger has the time, and the pass incomplete. That was intended for Coates, and Josh Bush was there to defend it.
If you watch it, Coates is open. Watch 14 as he comes across the field. He's there. It just takes a little too long for Ben Roethlisberger to get it to him. And the safety, he's going like, come flat or come straight across the field. I'm sure that's what he's thinking. By bending it up the field just a little bit, it allowed Bush to get in there and knock it away.
Greg Warren snaps it back to Jordan Berry, and a new returner back for Denver with Bolden on the sideline having just been nicked. This is a sideways kick. Now Wynn really just threw everything off from the snap on. Look at this, how far they're going.
Snapping the football into the wind. You got to remember that that's tough too. It's going across, so it's going to make it move. It's going a little bit of everywhere, really.
Ball is marked at the 31.
Oh, well, look at that.
Getting away from him. Yep.
The wind was, it definitely moved the football, just threw the timing off enough where he kicks the football short, out of bounds.
Well, they started their first possession from the 30 of Pittsburgh. This one starts at the 31. 3rd time they've handled it, and it's Ronnie Hillman for about 8. And by the way, we're pleased to introduce 14-year NFL veteran Jay Feely, one of the great kickers in recent years, made over 300 field goals, 82% in his career. And Jay, you're down on the sideline to help us on some of these special team situations. We saw it right there with the wind impacting that punt.
I am, Jim. Thanks a lot. You could tell that it had an impact on the snap, and then he had a bad drop which led to the bad punt.
Hey, Jay, we'll have you on standby here when the situation arises. 2nd and 1. Tillman again, and on him right away is Tuitt, along with Timmons for a loss of 1.
Well, Stephon Tuitt, we talked to him, number 91. The last half of this season, second year from Notre Dame, has been spectacular, especially against the run. And he goes, man, game days, that's the easy part. Because practice, his defensive line coach is John Mitchell, who rides him hard. I kind of know that story myself.
He learned a lot. He mentioned us from Brett Kiesel, gave him a lot of credit for helping him through his rookie year. And here's the 3rd and 2, and that pass was intended for Norwood.
Good defense, and Peyton Manning is right. You know, we talked about this in the opening, that he knows the situation. He knows how good their defense is, and you got to be careful with the football, and that was a careful throw. And also, 3rd down, obvious pass. If you think it's pass, the linebackers fast can get to the quarterback.
Going to be a 41-yard field goal attempt here for McManus. And he's got it again. But they've had a drive start at the Pittsburgh 30 and another one at the 31, and they've come away with just 2 field goals.
Pittsburgh defense doing its job so far.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Well, last weekend, Phil, the home teams all lost.
Right.
So far in the divisional round, the home teams have won all 3.
So what are you trying to tell me?
I just think that
I'll figure it out. I got you.
I had a lot to do if you looked at the experience of quarterbacks last weekend.
Yes,
those who won. But how about some of these games we've seen this weekend? Last night, maybe an all-timer. 6-0 here, Denver. Back here in Denver, let's take a look at our nationwide Skycam as the Steelers get set to snap it at the 20. They've had so far only 1 first down. They had the 1 play for 37 yards to Coates. They've managed only 16 yards on the other 12 plays.
Well, it's an offense that relies on the big play. That's the biggest thing. Wade Phillips says we'll play more conservative to stop the big plays.
They give it to Toussaint, and he's held in check there. Give him 1.
Well, everybody worried, and we talked about, can they get guys open? Here's one way they do it. Let's switch positions off the line of scrimmage. It creates space. Ben Roethlisberger can get rid of the football quickly. Top of the screen, same thing. Switch them, wide open. Going to see a lot of that today.
Here's a 2nd and 9, and Roethlisberger's got an open target, and it's Bryant who got hit from behind and almost juggled the football. Hit behind by Trevathan, but holds on, picks up 22.
Well, Bryant's just going to come down here. Look how much softer they're playing. Look at the defense all back there to stop the big plays, because the numbers from week 15 by the wide receivers at Ben Roethlisberger were, what's the word for it? Fantastic.
Roethlisberger, the only quarterback to throw for 300 yards against this Denver defense this season, which was best in the league against the pass and overall total defense. Threw for 380 in the game. And they're going to run it into round with Bryant, who had a big one last week for 44 yards, and another huge chunk of yardage for Martavis Bryant. He got a block from Marcus Wheaton, and the Steelers race down the sideline to the Denver 16.
Heath Miller leading the way. What do you do against a fast defense that likes to chase you? 83 out in front. And when you watch Martavis Bryant run, this guy is so talented and can be a superstar in the NFL. Not saying he is, but it reminds me of Randy Moss.
Watch the end of this play. Chris Harris gets tangled up, gets hit back by one of his own teammates right here, and he walks off the field. He had a shoulder injury coming in. He's second team All-Pro corner, and he's replaced by Bradley Roby. That's Toussaint weaving through traffic and now spinning for a first down and more. Look at the balance by Toussaint. They're going to spot him short of the goal line by about a half-yard.
Well, you talked about it. Le'Veon Bell gone. D'Angelo Williams out. Nice cutback. Everybody fighting their way because they think the run's going to the right. But we saw it last week from Toussaint and Todman cutting back against the grain and breaking tackles to get close to the goal line.
They bring in Doug Legursky and Chris Hubbard. Reinforcement on the offensive line. In fact, they've got Legursky lined up as a fullback.
He's the fullback.
A foot away, first and goal. It's Toussaint. And it's a touchdown.
Did you notice he didn't panic when the football was handed to him? He just kind of like, let me just see what's going on. And boy, 1 week of experience turned him around. Gary Kubiak talked about it. He knew all about Toussaint. Not surprised how well he's doing, but that was a great patient run. I know it was close, but still didn't just plunge into the line and lose a half a yard.
That's the first career touchdown for Fitzgerald Toussaint, who was primary back in his career at Michigan. Started 31 games for the Wolverines, but then came into the league, got picked up and cut 4 times by the Baltimore Ravens. Was actually on the roster for the postseason last year. And comes off the practice squad here back in late November. And he's contributed both last week and here early today.
Well, I think Pittsburgh's answering that question about wide receivers. We're pretty good and deep at wide receiver.
And Toussaint finds the end zone. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide, honors players who significantly impacted the game and their communities. And Cameron Hayward is the designee from the Steelers. David Bruton Jr. from the Broncos. They've done great work. And soon we'll find out the 3 finalists. It'll be revealed during the AFC Championship game next week, February 6th on CBS on the NFL Honor Show hosted by Conan O'Brien. We'll find out the winner of the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. So rushing the football, just had a 40-yard reverse by Bryant. That was more yardage than the Steelers had on the ground the entire meeting December the 20th. We got 68 total as Toussaint took care of the last 16 yards of that drive.
I love reverses. Reverses slow a defense down, and what it does, hey, makes you play honest. You got to quit cheating, overplaying. So Todd Haley saw it. That's why he put that reverse in there, and that'll make the backside guys slow down chasing somebody from behind.
He had a 44-yard end around last week, did Bryant. 40 today. So the football has blown off the tee a second time, so Boykin will come in to assist Boswell.
Yep, after the second time, you must come in and assist holding the football.
Andre Caldwell is the deep returner. Bolden, who had that big punt return, he's been was his questionable return with a knee. And they'll start at the 20. What we've seen so far out of the Broncos, and Peyton really has been really a cautious approach in the first quarter.
Absolutely. I think that's the way they wanted to approach this football game, thinking their defense had a chance to dominate because of injuries and what went on, and being here at home, the crowd noise and the pass rush. But what we've seen is, like Mike Tomlin said, be wary of a wounded animal. And Pittsburgh so far playing inspired. Defense has done well. And the big plays on the offensive side.
Peyton's going to drop back into the gun here for this first down snap. Takes the handoff to Anderson, and that pass in and out of the hands of Andre Caldwell. Broken up too by Will Allen, who had missed some plays. Turns to the field, makes a play.
Well, Peyton Manning, not off to a great start, but they do so many different things. Watch, here's the 4 rushers, and then you have guys near the line of scrimmage, drop back into the passing defense, and Pittsburgh 4 linebackers can do all. They can be outside pass rushers and drop in coverage and blitz.
Emmanuel Sanders at the bottom has not been targeted so far in this game. Underneath they go to Virgil Green, and he gets spun around but picks up the first down. A gain of 11. Now Peyton, we see the hit by first Mitchell, then Timmons. You asked Peyton, we were here a year ago when they got knocked out by Indianapolis in this spot in the divisional round. How's your health compared to last year? At this time he said better. First down play action throw. Pulled down for the catch. And that's Demaryius Thomas right in front of Cockrell.
Well, Demaryius Thomas, such a big, strong wide receiver. Top of your screen, when he gets to the top of the route, he's just so strong and so big against most defensive backs. He creates separation. Peyton Manning was going at him the whole time. Knew he had one-on-one, took advantage of it.
So a couple of pass plays brings him out to the 46 in the final seconds of the first quarter. And another man this time, and it's Cody Latimer. Second-year receiver out of Indiana. Picks up another first down at a gain of 12 to end the quarter with Pittsburgh leading at 7-6. We'll return after these messages, and you're watching the NFL on CBS. Jim Nantz along with Phil Simms and Tracy Wolfson, Mike Carey and Jay Feely as well as we start quarter number 2. Manning's just completed 3 consecutive throws to advance to the Pittsburgh side of the field.
Well, Pittsburgh so far back trying to stop the big play gave Peyton Manning some easy completions.
Again, he's going to play action this and go down the field and just barely overthrows Demaryius Thomas, who had a step on Ross Cockrell.
Man, I sounded like he said Todd Haley as he was calling out the signals, but they crossed 2 receivers deep, and that leaves Cockrell one-on-one with Demaryius Thomas going down the middle of the field.
We've referenced the breezy conditions down on the field, and it's mainly a crosswind, but do you think it's any easier for the quarterbacks going in one particular direction?
Yes, I do. I think it's the best is where Peyton Manning is throwing right now. The wind, it might be going across the field a little bit, but it's behind his back also.
2nd and 10 to the ground with Anderson. And that is bottled up by James Harrison and a loss of 1.
Well, you saw who caused the whole mess, so it's the same guy, number 91, Stephon Tuitt. I mean, there's nowhere to go. You hesitate, these outside linebackers are going to clean up the mess.
The wind is even picking up now.
It says it's in. I look at the goalpost on top of the flags. It's behind Peyton Manning's back.
3rd and 11. On the run, unable to grab hold of it is Emmanuel Sanders, targeted for the first time in this game and guarded on that occasion by Robert Golden.
You know, the first game they played, Brock Osweiler had an unbelievable first half against his Pittsburgh defense because they played very careful. Then they did this, which they did the last couple plays. They got up there tight, played more man-to-man coverage, and actually had some success and turned that game around. So a good play by the defense there.
Colquitt. And Wheaton, no fair catch, fields it at the 8, shoved out at the 15 by Darian Stewart. Roethlisberger returns with his team leading 7-6, having driven for a touchdown. Today's Next Gen stats are brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Well, the Steelers offense returns to the field. Last time Pittsburgh had possession, drove 80 yards in 5 plays. 57 of it on the ground. It's Toussaint, and he's nearly tripped up for a loss, but he's able to keep his balance. Up ahead for 4. Well, what are they missing with Antonio Brown, who was the co-leader in receptions with Julio Jones? 136 catches. This is the route chart against Denver 4 weeks ago.
16 from 189. Look where everything goes, all the motion, everything he does. I've never seen anything like it when you watch the Steeler offense when Antonio Brown's in there.
Those Next Gen stats presented by Mercedes-Benz.
But so far, they've overcome it. Receivers doing well.
2nd and 6. And again, it's Toussaint, this time held to 1. Chris Harris Jr. is now coming back onto the field. He was not out there for the first 2 plays of this drive. Harris had gone 35 games without giving up a touchdown. Speaking of Antonio Brown, and Brown beat him twice in that game.
And that's why they're changed what they're doing here in this game today. Wade Phillips puts so much pressure on his corners against an elite receiving group. They just couldn't hold up. Like right now, they're going to sit back in a zone defense, see if their pass rush can get there.
3rd and 5 from the 20. Roethlisberger stands in the pocket, and look who's wide open. Darius Hayward-Bay cuts back to the middle, and he got away from Bush. Roby, though, is able to tackle him and prevent the touchdown at the 21. That's a 58-yard play.
They're trying to watch the outcut. Nobody is looking down the sideline, and what a job by Roethlisberger hanging in the pocket and making the throw. Boy, people all around in the offensive line did a terrific job of giving it an extra second. Look how long he stays. Oh, man.
Villanueva backed into him, but...
And he didn't even move, just kept his eyes down the field, made the throw. Great job by everybody.
Hayward-Bay was dinged on the tackle, but a 58-yard pass play sets up the Steelers at the 22. Toussaint. Showing some strength there. Carrying a couple of Broncos with him for 4.
Showing some strength and some will. That's what you're seeing really from this Steelers offensive line. I mean, we keep talking about Antonio Brown and, you know, Le'Veon Bell. Let's don't forget Marquise Pouncey. Kelvin, the center, he's out. He was the ringleader of maybe the offense and the football team.
Left tackle Kelvin Beachum.
They lost him. So Villanueva done a tremendous job at left tackle for him. Cody Wallace at center. They got an attitude. They're showing it so far here today.
Sammy Coates to the far right side. 2nd and 6. He's got Talib on him. Then looks that way, and he looks up, and he's tackled by Antonio Smith. Boy, he got there in a hurry.
Well, he got there in a hurry. Can't really blame. This is supposed to be a really quick throw. The coverage was there. Antonio Smith, nice job. Looks like it's a quick pass and maybe a screen to the other side. So Roethlisberger has to get rid of it fast and didn't do it.
And he fell on that injured right shoulder.
Well, the fact that he fell on it didn't hurt should give him more confidence, or give him confidence that that shoulder can hold up.
3rd and 13.
While it's getting hit.
Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Roethlisberger incomplete. Going for Miller. It hit the ground. Harris there to defend it.
Excellent job. Blitz coming on the outside. Roethlisberger stands in there, and look how he's just shifted and makes the perfect throw, but Heath Miller can't hang on.
That was a good looking throw right here. Do you see any difference at all with his velocity today?
Not a bit. Not a bit.
Chris Boswell. Field goal attempt. 43 yards out. Barry on the hold. Plays the wind. Goes off that right side. And it's good. This kid made 4 against Cincinnati last week. An NFL record for a rookie or a first-year player in a postseason game. Last 10 points to Pittsburgh. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Fitbit. Find your fit. FedEx. Solutions that matter. And by Volkswagen. Back here in beautiful Colorado, where the Steelers lead at 10-6. This kid Boswell's quite a find for this team. The 4th different kicker they've had this year. Ever since Sweesom got injured in the first preseason game, they had to go through a trial period with Garrett Hartley, and then Josh Scobie they traded for didn't work out. This kid's been a star. The 2016 NFL Pro Bowl gets you closer to the players and the action. Hall of Famers Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice select the teams with the draft on Wednesday, January 27th. And you can watch the game live from Aloha Stadium, January 31st on ESPN. And on that note, I'd just like to pass along from our network to our friend Chris Mortensen all the very best. He announced earlier this week he's battling cancer. You know he's going to win that battle. This you're thought of by all of us here. Friends that remembered working with you way back when on the NFL on CBS.
Well, I worked with him 1 year. I consider him a friend. I know he loves his family. He's a man of great faith, and of course he's great at what he does. And also, we wish him well. And he loves football. I mean, he loves it. So shows in his work.
2nd and 5.
Black 80! Black! Ready, set! Good, we're good. Kick set. Oh, box it!
Look at that play. On the line by Jarvis Jones.
You know, it's easy to say, you know, it's kind of a cliche. They want to stop the run. But Pittsburgh doing it with their up front guys. And why do they want to do it? Keith Butler, their defensive coordinator, extremely creative in these situations with blitzes and where everybody moves around. Peyton Manning knows that. You heard Gary Kubiak talk about it. That's why they want to keep all these situations like this one here when they got to throw it 3rd, 5 or less.
Denver offense has managed only 4 first downs so far. 0 for 4 on 3rd down. For options. Open. Should have been caught. Anderson had a running lane. This crowd here is getting restless with the offense.
Well, it was a good job. Peyton Manning found the right guy. Coming out of the backfield. Wide open. Watch Sanders. Wide open. So that coverage, they're so intent on not giving up the big play. They're leaving the underneath people uncovered. Denver's got to take advantage of it.
Colquitt to Wheaton. Comes over for it at the 26. And a good starting point coming up for the Steelers at the 38. 12-yard return on a 48-yard punt. Saturday, it's an NCAA triple header of hoop action. Georgetown tangles with UConn, followed by Duke and NC State, and then UCLA against Oregon. That's Saturday here on the road to the Final Four, CBS Sports. And we're on the road to the Final Four of the NFL playoffs. We'll have our 4th team at the end of this one, with already having seen New England and Arizona advance as of yesterday. Carolina today over Seattle. The top 2 seeds in the NFC are all set for their championship game next week. Roethlisberger. He dumps it off to Spaeth. Von Miller's over there. Holds him to 1.
Well, you know, look at this game so far. What have we learned? Okay, first off, Ben Roethlisberger, you asked me before we went to the last break, how's that arm look? It looks great, like it always does. The wide receiver question, that's kind of been answered because they have been getting open, and you can see why Denver's defensive backs are worried about it. And Denver, on the other side, they have not taken advantage of big situations so far, especially by their offense.
2nd and 9. Toussaint. Early contact from Trevathan. Gary Kubiak and the Broncos staff tried to ignore the fact that Antonio Brown wasn't going to be here. In fact, Antonio's back watching this in Pittsburgh. He didn't travel. Well, they've seen these guys step up with a 58-yard pass play to Hayward Bay, 37 to Coates, 23 to Bryant.
Oh, yeah.
As well as a big end around by Bryant.
He warned his team. It means nothing. Just act like he's there. The difference is changing some coverages maybe, but he knows they had plenty of other weapons, and we've seen that so far here today.
3rd and 8. Pressure, and they got him again. Derek Wolfe, who just got a contract extension on Friday. And a loss of 10, the 2nd sack of Roethlisberger.
This is what they wanted. Let's see if we can make him hold it, read the defense just for a little bit. And that time he did. Look at the crosser coming across the field. Well covered. Little switch release. Watch Coates as he comes across. Bradley Roby all over him. What a year he's had as the 3rd defensive back. So nobody open. Roethlisberger takes the sack.
Barry, who had that poor punt the last time and lost it to the right. This one hooks to the left. And this thing Spotted all the way up at the 41. This is a 27-yard boot.
Wynn psyching him out.
This week, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Charlie Day will be a guest from Life in Pieces. Colin Hanks. All new Colbert this week on CBS. For the third time in 6 drives, the Broncos began at their own 40 or better after a second consecutive 27-yard punt. Peyton looking up top. And that caught by Sanders, and William Gay can't believe he didn't come away with it. Gain of 15.
He can't believe it, and watch number 50, Shazier, gets underneath it also, and they just miss it. And William Gay, the best corner the Pittsburgh Steelers have, he stays in the game all the time. Now, they'll rotate other defensive backs in there, and Mike Tomlin says, I just go with whoever's hot. We always keep 22 in the game, William Gay.
Sanders' first catch. And again, Peyton looking down the field. Open. Had an open man there. Missed him. Benny Fowler. This drive set up by that poor punt. Got a flag down. Terry McCauley, the referee. He was the referee here for the Steelers-Broncos AFC Championship game all the way back in the 2005 season.
There's no foul for an illegal formation. Second down.
I'm going to get back to that punt. What happened there? Jay Feely, let's go back down to you. Phil suggested it's in his head, the wind. What do you think?
I think Phil is absolutely right. Jordan Berry's a young punter. He's got a huge leg, but what you need in these conditions is precision. He's not getting good drops. He's not confident with the wind. He's allowing it to have an impact on him.
I like it when people agree with me every once in a while. That was nice.
Could even hear the wind.
Yes, you could.
Through his headset microphone. Here's a 2nd and 10. On the run, Fowler unable to grab hold of that one.
Nope. You know, the ball's not coming out of Peyton's hand real crisp. In the play before, Fowler going across the field, or no, it was Latimer, who was wide open and he missed him. But pressure inside, gets out there. This is nobody's fault but the receiver because he hit him right in the chest. But the opportunities are there. You know, Jim, we talked about it. There's been some soft coverages. People have been open. The offense so far just not crisp.
Haven't converted again, 3rd down in the game. Got a timeout, Denver. Just inside 6 minutes to go here in the first half.
And there's no doubt wind. You heard Jay Feely when he was doing a report. You could hear the wind coming through the mics. And trust me, as a quarterback, you'd rather have snow, rain, and the last thing you want to see or deal with is wind in a football game.
And that goes, as you said, too, for the quarterbacks.
Yeah, the quarterbacks, it does make the football a little slicker.
Want to get back to
harder to hold and to control it.
What you saw out of Peyton at a couple of practices this week, he told us that he was healthier than the playoff game a year ago, healthier than he was week 1 this year.
Well, he did, and I believe it after watching him practice. And they had a really windy day at practice. I think it was on Thursday, and he was so glad just in case it was windy today.
Hasn't been sharp to this point. 7 out of 15, 1 out of 6 in this quarter. On 3rd and 10, Anderson fighting for it, but be stopped short, 3 yards short of the first.
Just what they want to do. Peyton Manning on the ground. Here's the big question. Will Gary Kubiak punt it or go for it? Stephon Tuitt was on the hit.
Yeah, he knocked down Peyton after the throw. 4th and 3. They keep the offense on the field. Could have had the option of going for a 55-yard field goal with McManus.
Yeah, I like the call. This is being aggressive. Playoff football. You know you're going against a good football team. Field position, it's not like you're giving up a whole bunch if you punted it in the end zone. So
4th and 3. And he finds Sanders unable to hold on a collision. Hit by Mitchell, and it's ruled incomplete. Mike Mitchell's jarring blow prevents the first down catch.
Read the quarterback, made the big hit, calls the incompletion.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Bring home the flavor only at Pizza Hut. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of Super Bowl 50. So each team's failed on 4th down in opponent's territory. Steelers failed on a 4th and 1 earlier. Denver, for a moment, looked like might pick up the first on 4th and 3. But the big hit by Mitchell knocks it out, and the Steelers take over on downs at the 37.
That's what Pittsburgh's defense counts on. Seeing it, run to it, make the hit, get turnovers or incompletions.
A little dump pass, and Toussaint lost his footing after 1. You want some symmetry with the Steelers? Go back to 10 years ago. They were the 6th seed under Bill Cowher. As they are now, the first 6th seed to ever win a Super Bowl. They won their wild card game that year, as they did last week at Cincinnati. Divisional round, they had to take on Peyton. So they went on to win Super Bowl 40. Now trying to put together a most improbable run with all the injuries, adversity they've overcome on this journey to Super Bowl 50. Leading it here 10-6. And a 2nd and 9. Talib wrestles down Bryant after a 7-yard pickup.
Wade Phillips said enough of this sitting back and playing soft, and we're not going to give up plays. That time it was a blitz. You saw Talib one-on-one. Look at everybody up front. Here it comes, and Ben Roethlisberger, right in rhythm, makes the perfect throw.
Roethlisberger faces a 3rd and 2. Toussaint by his side in the gun. They shift Coates over to the far right side.
Everybody's up close to the line of scrimmage. Finally, somebody goes back.
And they're going to go end around again with Bryant. This worked the first time for 40.
DeMarcus Ware stopped at that time, did a great job with staying on the backside. And once you make the reverse runner, Bryant, hesitate, well, this defense is fast. They're going to get there.
And Ben was out there trying to throw a block with a bad shoulder.
Well, he was trying to get in the way a little, but that's just a good job by DeMarcus Ware. Nowhere to go.
Ooh, Wade Phillips got taken down on the sideline. Let's see what Berry can do this time. Oh, he makes up for a lot right there.
Well, that was interesting. He kicked that one on purpose, end over end. So that takes some of the, I think, thought process and worried about the win out of the equation.
A 50-yard punt that goes out of bounds at the 4.
Beautiful kick. Well, you know, that defense by Denver, that last series, you know, Wade Phillips just probably couldn't stand it. Likes to be aggressive, so he got up there, played tough.
Good to see him back up on his feet.
Well, look at that, how he dropped the football, kicks it end over end. We see many guys in the NFL doing it now. It's extremely effective, especially trying to kick it down inside the 10-yard line.
Barry, an old Australian rules football player from Melbourne. Broncos. Look at Shazier come up. Lower the boom on Anderson.
He's a different linebacker than you usually see with the Pittsburgh Steelers, right, Jim? I mean, we met him last night. He looks like he could play wide receiver so fast. They drafted him in the 1st round, and you know what I loved about him? He knew about the history, of course, of the Steelers and just football. Loves football. It's a full-time job to him.
You could not name a Steeler linebacker of yesteryear.
I was trying.
Without him being able to tell you a little bit of a background.
It's kind of great to hear it. A lot of times we hear what? Oh, yeah, I don't watch football.
2nd and 9. Anderson galloping past the 20, the 30, and taken down at the 40 by Jarvis Jones.
That time, Matt Paradis, the center, just got a great block. Took down McClendon and gave Anderson that opening to pick up all these yards. Good blocking down the field. Evan Mathis, the left guard, had a good block also.
Denver's first play of 20+ in the game goes for 34. They get a snap off before the 2-minute warning. And only that's a small gain here for Hillman. Shazier tackles him after a pickup of 1. 2-minute warning with the Steelers leading it here in Denver, 10-6. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report, JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher, highlights of the Carolina win from earlier today and their analysis of the first half here. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report. 2 timeouts for each side. 2nd and 9 for the Broncos. And that's Daniels trying to somehow pull away from Timmons, unable to. Gain of 6.
Wow. Good throw, good catch. Timmons all over the tight end, but somehow he pulled it in. Pittsburgh's defense, we talked about it. Their linebackers, that's the key. Wow, what a shock that is, right? It's been that way since, seems like ever since we've been following football, since back in the 70s, the Steel Curtain. They had great linebackers, but now so much built around trying to get them in position so they can make a play.
3rd and 3. And there's a first conversion of the game. It's Thomas pulling it in on the Pittsburgh side of the field.
Good job. Peyton Manning seeing that opening to the backside and just drills it in there. Demaryius Thomas. You said he can be emotional. You need to involve him in the game, get him some throws.
That's Ballard. He's down by Boykin. And the Broncos will take a timeout here with 45 seconds. That play good for only 4. And again, the Verizon halftime report is coming up. All the crew back in the studio in New York getting ready to present the highlights from earlier today and their thoughts on the first half here. A game that started with the Broncos set up twice deep in Pittsburgh territory in the first quarter and managed only a pair of field goals.
Yeah, it was a big turnaround. Like I said, a big plus for the defense, and they've kind of continued that. And, you know, Peyton Manning on that 3rd down play was playing both sides. In other words, they want to drive and score here, but he was also playing the clock, not in a big rush, because in case they didn't pick up the 3rd down, trying to let some of the time go off the clock to make sure Ben Roethlisberger didn't get another shot with the football.
They've added a couple of seconds. So now with 47 to go. A 2nd and 6 from the Pittsburgh 39. Peyton with 3 on the play clock. Shazier sends signals of his own. They go to the ground. And some first down carry for Anderson. So a little chess match going on between Peyton and that Pittsburgh defense. Gains 8.
Yeah, the chess match was won by Peyton Manning. Mathis on the good block because he realized they were going to drop out. That's why he called the run.
64.
Clock moving with 26 seconds. Lost a lot of time there. Now shifts over and throws it down and out of bounds.
Well, you know, you say, wow, he's being hesitant, not real quick and all that. But listen, that time the blitz came and it was so late. But Denver's there. So far, they're not being fooled by some of the blitzes Keith Butler, the defensive coordinator, has shown. Coming from Peyton's left side. See him come late. 2 blitzers. Denver ready for it. They gave him time to throw, but nobody was open.
2nd and 10. 16 seconds and 1 timeout. Field goal from here would be from 50. Here they come. Manning is walloped as he got rid of it. Will Allen on the safety blitz.
That's what they did. Only 4 guys are rushing the passer, but they're trying to do it in creative ways. The football did go forward. Here comes the safety. Nobody sees him. Peyton Manning did not sense it. Really fortunate it wasn't a fumble.
Fortunate he wasn't hurt.
Yeah, fortunately he wasn't hurt too. That was a big shot, but the football was in his hand as the arm was going forward.
Just beats the football, loses the football, and falls on it. There's Allen again, who topples on the quarterback in a timeout to give them a field goal opportunity from McManus. So that wasn't pretty at the end by the Denver offense, but give that Pittsburgh defense, Will Allen, some credit for that previous play. There he is again.
I think Peyton pulled out just a little bit. He knew the situation. You know, Jim, it comes down to this. Uncertainty. Drop passes by the Broncos. Missed a couple receivers. You see the football goes straight down. Usually means the quarterback pulls out a little early. But you got to be uncertain just because of what we've seen, these different types of blitzes.
Bring in Jay Feely. Going to have a 51-yard attempt coming up. And how will McManus play this one with all the wind?
Brandon McManus, one of the strongest legs in the NFL, plenty of leg. The wind is at his back, blowing to the right. The tendency is to overplay the wind. With the elevation here in Denver, you trust it, put it down the middle.
The goalposts are actually moving.
There it is, and it starts to shift at the last moment. They rule it good. Boy, that was close, at least from that angle. How about how much that moved at the end? Right here, you think maybe dead center, and all of a sudden, yeah, it's already through by that time. No question, it's good. His third of the half closes the half. Good from 28, 41, and now 51. Let's go down to Tracy.
Thanks, Coach. A lot of question marks coming into this game. How do you like how Ben and the wide receivers have responded in this first half?
I think we've overcome a shaky start. I didn't like the way we started, but I think we've settled down. I think our defense's performance allowed that to happen.
Speaking of your defense, how have they been able to just keep this offense off rhythm?
You know, we're just trying to play the cat and mouse game with 18. Obviously, we got a lot of respect for them, and we got to continue to do that.
Thanks a lot. Jim?
All right, Tracy, that's the end of the first half with the score. Pittsburgh 10 and Denver 9. Back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. The Steelers lead it over the Broncos 10-9 as the third quarter is about to start. The ball will be kicked to the Broncos. Pepsi presents the Super Bowl 50 halftime show. What does it take to pull off a halftime performance? Find out how the crew makes the magic happen. Follow the journey only at Pepsi.com. All right, Denver deferred, and soon we'll have a Boswell kick to the Broncos. And we heard our colleagues in the studio talking about perhaps a different approach for the Denver offense in this half, even suggesting up-tempo for Peyton.
Well, you think sometimes and you hope. That's why you go up-tempo, to get your team in rhythm, but also to make the defense play really careful and safe. I think Peyton Manning's been a little hesitant only because they're so creative on the defensive side. He doesn't want to take those blindside hits that we saw him take there late in the first half.
You mentioned we met with Ryan Shazier and Mike Tomlin, and they both, as the ball again is blown off the tee, they both mentioned how the defense of the Steelers loves the challenge of trying to be the difference makers in this game. They'll have to bring Boykin in again.
You know why? They're sick of hearing about their offense.
Yeah, but they want to be the ones that can win it.
Well, it was a good first half by the Steeler defense overall. I thought their linebacking play was everything that we expect every time we do a Steelers game. They've been terrific. They kept this score to 10-9.
Caldwell, the deep man, not a chance. Look at this one. Into the stands. Let's get back to the very beginning when you mentioned the Pittsburgh receivers needing to step up without Antonio Brown. What did you see in the first half?
It's worked out pretty well, hasn't it? We've seen that they're deep, they're talented, they're fast, they got everything they need. How about Ben Roethlisberger's arm? Looks pretty good, doesn't it? So that question's been answered. I think on the other side, it's strictly this. Peyton Manning, cautious but smart. The drop passes by the wide receivers of the Broncos was stopping some drives and really a big part of the first offense.
Yeah, five drops in all. Anderson is the running back. Here's the carry. Harrison drags him down. Gain of 3. Tracy, what did you learn at halftime?
I spoke with Gary Kubiak coming out of the locker room, and I asked him about Peyton. He said Peyton's playing fine. It's the guys around him that need to make the plays. What else he said is that the wind is affecting them more than they expected. They need to handle it better. They can't lose patience. They must stay aggressive and establish the run, Jim.
That running attack in the first half for the Broncos. Collected now. They're up to 74 yards in the first half. Here's Anderson again. Same play, and again, negligible results. Gain of 1 as Golden takes off the cape and comes onto the field. First half numbers look like this.
Well, I think the big thing, couple things, both teams have had chances to get it done, but the fact that Pittsburgh has run the football for 78 yards makes Denver's defense play honest. And it's keeping that pass rush from dominating the football game.
Sanders had only 1 catch in that first half after putting up monster numbers at Pittsburgh 4 weeks ago. 10 catches, 181. So they've contained him. 3rd and 7. And that's incomplete. And that's going to draw a flag on the Steelers. Pass intended for Thomas, who is gimpy, heading to the sideline.
Well, we said earlier, William Gay, the best defensive back for the Steelers.
Pass interference. Defense number 22. Automatic first down.
Or I should say the best cover guy. Just gets there too early and has contact with Demaryius Thomas. Bottom of the screen, giving him plenty of space, trying to read the quarterback. Hits him in the back before the football got there.
Hand off Hillman. Keep trying that right side, 3rd time on this drive, and Barnes-Timmons is there to jam it.
Well, these linebackers, Shazier's everywhere. That first run, Bud Dupree, they didn't move him, so there was no run anywhere to go.
As Thomas misses another snap, 2nd and 9. Operating a little quicker this time. Over to Green. Got away for a moment from Will Allen. And is able to add 4 yards.
Well, Jim, when you play that style, in other words, you're going to sit back and you're going to watch the quarterback. What's important? Then you got to react when it's thrown. That's the strength of the Steelers. And you got to make the tackles and not give up the extra yards. The one thing we've seen so far in this game that they've corrected from week 15 when they played, they have not made the big mistake in coverage down the field.
3rd and 5, and Manning has 5 wides, but he doesn't have Thomas, and he doesn't have Sanders on the field. Goes over to Caldwell, and right on him is William Gay. Flagged a moment ago, comes back, makes the stick, and a loss of 1, forcing the punt.
Here it is. Watch William Gay. And the receiver, everybody moving. It's got you confused. You're thinking it's a blitz, so they throw the screen outside. Oh, man, even if William Gay doesn't make the tackle, the defensive line was coming behind to make the tackle. And of course, Mike Tomlin not afraid to show his emotions.
There was a whole wave right behind him if he didn't make that play. And that's Webster with the contact right away on Wheaton. Big Ben coming out. 9 of 15 in that first half for 132, and he has the lead by 1. Today's Next Gen Stats brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Steelers' first handle of the 3rd quarter. It begins at the 21. And a quick pass, a little too high, sailed on him. Intended for Bryant. Again, the Next Gen Stats presented by Mercedes-Benz. And how are they playing here, these wideouts, these DBs? How much space are they giving them, Phil?
Well, here's the first game over here. And look at all the numbers across are deeper. Because the first time they played bump, man-to-man coverage, Wade Phillips wanted to switch up. He did, but towards the end of the half, he started crowding the line of scrimmage a little more. So I don't think he was happy with that zone defense the way it went for his team.
As Roethlisberger finding a man open at the last moment. It's Bryant who weaves past Roby. And look at him take off to the 26.
Everybody followed Roethlisberger looking to the right, and they leave Bryant alone at the top of the screen. So as Roethlisberger moves, you can see they're coming across. They think they can read the quarterback, and when you do that in zone defense, it opens up a big gaping hole. And how about Bryant running with the football when he gets it in the open field?
Well, he runs for 52 total on that play. Plus, he's got that 40-yard reverse in the first half that set up the game's only touchdown. They have had now 4 big plays in this game, the Steelers. And unable to hold on to it. Miller. Ball hit the ground as Trevathan ends up with the football.
How about this? It's a little zone read. They fake it, and they're hoping everybody's going to jump up for the run game. And Brandon Marshall not fooled at all. But the big play to Martavis Bryant, that was all because Ben Roethlisberger, 2 hands on the football, moved in the pocket, and made the play.
And that play gave him the 7th first down of the game. And 5 of them have come on these giant gains. 2 pass plays over 50 yards included. There's another open target. That's Bryant again for a first.
Oh, that's a beautiful throw. And that's, I think, throwing to this sideline to Ben Roethlisberger's right is the easiest one because the wind's behind their back and across the field. Good timing.
Talib playing way off of him.
One of the few teams in the NFL that throws these rhythm out cuts like that to their wide receivers. Most teams too afraid to do it. Something could go wrong. Not Pittsburgh. Been doing it since Bill Cowher was the head coach.
You set it down, and that's broken up by Harris. Again, they were going back to Bryant. Harris was there in a hurry. Tonight on 60 Minutes, Sean Penn, in his only interview, talks about a secret meeting with the drug lord El Chapo. Plus, Chinese spies are costing America billions of dollars and millions of jobs. How are they doing it? 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. 2nd and 10.
Screens for either team not working very well here today. Both defenses have seen it so much, they react very well to it.
That's the middle. Miller. Give him 5.
Well, you can hear the Steeler fans. Don't see that many in the crowds, but I heard the old Heath call as he.
Ben goes over 200 yards passing with that completion. He's got a big 3rd and 5 coming up at the Denver 10. Leading it by a point. They've had 6 straight pass plays.
With 2 double fakes by the left guard, tapping the center to make sure the defensive line doesn't time the snap. Oh, this is going to be on 4.
Got it away just in time. Goes to the end zone, and it's knocked down by Talib, denying Martavis Bryant. Good play by Aqib Talib.
I think it was. He was playing the outside the whole way because T.J. Ward, the safety, was going to help him out if Bryant came to the inside. Excellent play.
So bring out Chris Boswell, the first-year kicker from Rice, whose college roommate was Coach Kubiak's son, Klein Kubiak, and his holder at Rice.
Wow.
Spent a lot of time around the Kubiak house when Gary was the coach of the Texans and kids were competing here by Rice University. Kick is good from 28. Boswell 6 for 6 now in the postseason. 13-9 Steelers. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. IBM Watson can help us outthink our biggest challenges. And by the Ford F-150, every other truck is history. There's the Museum of Nature and Science here in Denver. Commissioner Goodell is on site for this final divisional game of the weekend.
Well, you're seeing a good game.
Going to bring Boykin in right away. Pittsburgh's put up 31 points in the postseason. 19 of those 31 points have been provided by Boswell, who on his last kickoff sent it to about row 3. Not quite as far this time, but clearly gets the job done. You've mentioned the drop passes by the Broncos.
Well, yes, and what these drop passes are doing, that was early. on the first drive of the game. And it's some of these are third downs, not keeping the drive going. Of course, when you drop passes, it hurts the rhythm. You know, you say, oh, they look uninspired if you're a fan sometimes. Well, you got to make plays to get the rhythm going for your players, to give them confidence. But as I always say, to give confidence to the play caller, too.
Demaryius Thomas, dinged on the last drive, is back out there. Peyton steps up. That's his best throw of the day. It's to Sanders. And he's bounced out by Blake and Shazier in the area.
Like the first play when we saw the first throw from Peyton Manning. Look at the separation. Antoine Blake is giving up top to Emmanuel Sanders. And really good throw. Football comes out of Peyton Manning's hand cleanly and on time.
That's the longest pass play for Manning in this game. 19 yards gained.
Black 80! Black! Ready, set! Good, we're good! Omaha! Check!
They were coming in on him, and he got it away in the area of Daniels. Look at Jarvis Jones there to knock it down.
Talked about all these linebackers many times. They're about 7 or 8 deep who they can play. Jarvis Jones to the right of the screen. Good protection. All over Owen Daniels. But you know, the play before when Antoine Blake was so deep, look, that's how they teach them. This defense, just make sure you don't give up the big pass over the top. That's what they're built on. The athletes will make a play sooner or later.
They go to the right side with a run again. And a stick by James Harrison along with Stephon Tuitt. And a loss of 1.
I think Harrison's getting younger. Meaner, madder, I don't know what. But boy, can he get underneath. 92 on the outside. Virgil Green, a very good blocking tight end. Couldn't handle him.
A couple of years ago, he was almost out of the league.
He was gonna retire, or you thought?
Had a really uneventful year down in Cincinnati, and he comes back to Pittsburgh and regaining form. Had a sack last week in the win against the Bengals. Here's a 3rd and 11. Manning gets the feet planted in the pass. It's out of reach for Thomas.
Well, he picked up the blitz.
That was Anderson who picked up the blitz.
Excellent job by him, but nobody opened down the field where Peyton Manning is looking. Anderson steps in, gets Shazier. Look at the space. But when you see the throw, that's what you do. Cover the guy at the first down marker. Let the short guy be open.
Broncos now 1 out of 10 on 3rd down. Colquitt, not a lot of hang time here. Wynn's got it, knocks it down, it's picked up. Wheaton got a hand on it. It's a free football. And Hayward Bay takes it out of bounds with him. Never got the clean handle back, but alertly made sure it didn't go back to the Broncos. Again, it was Kayvon Webster making a special teams play. Wheaton, the returner with Antonio Brown out. He's had a couple of miscues in this game. Have fun with friends and hone your football skills. Play NFL Flag. Go to playfootball.com today to find a league in your community. Steelers backed up at the 6. Midway 3rd quarter with Pittsburgh leading it. It's Toussaint. He waited, but nothing developed. Trevathan went laterally with him and knocked him back for a loss of 1.
Well, good play, but we started this game. How's Ben Roethlisberger's shoulder going to be? Look at the follow-through. It's perfect. He says that's where the pain comes. But how about, it's good to be 6'4", 6'5", 240 pounds. You can stand in there and get bumped around and still make throws like that down the field.
He's had 4 completions that have gone for more than 20 yards. In fact, a couple for 50 plus. 2nd and 11. We stay with Toussaint, and again, early contact. Vance Walker met him at the line of scrimmage.
Now they're deep along the defensive line. So when you get in there, you get a couple snaps, you could just let it go.
Well, Pittsburgh said with a lot of pride, particularly Ryan Shazier, we'd like to be the difference makers in this game and win it. We'd like to be the ones that win it for us. Well, the Denver defense got to be thinking the same thing. They need to step up as their offense has not been productive. 3rd and 11. Late handoff to Todman. He's hit by Stewart. It comes over with the shoulder at the 10-yard line. It's a 5-yard gain, but 3 and out.
Boy, that was really a conservative series for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, usually they would try a screen or something to catch the defense off guard, but that time, 3 runs. Good reaction by the Denver defense.
Want to see what Jordan Berry does here. The last time he punted from the end zone, it was a 27-yard punt.
Going with the end-over-end kick.
Fair catch by Norwood. Denver will start at its own 47. 43-yard punt by Berry that time. Broncos trail it here, 13-9. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by Verizon. Join a better network because better matters. You see the capital of Colorado there. A lot of anxious folks here in the Rocky Mountain area as the #1 seed trails here at home with 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. And again, they start with excellent field position.
Probably time to open it up. The run game is really having a hard time putting them in tough situations.
There they go to the air, and the catch made for the first down. That's Sanders. His 3rd catch of the game goes for 10.
You know, they're playing safe on the corners. Peyton Manning knows that. When you look at Pittsburgh, when they rush forward, they're not the kind of team that can get to the quarterback too quick.
Open in the middle. It's Norwood twisting with Shazier on him. And let's see if they spotted enough for the first. Yep, it's going to be a first down. Another 10-yard pass play. And now they pick up the tempo a little bit here. Back at the line. Manning from under center. Handoff. Anderson finds an opening. And it's an 11-yard run.
Really good cutback by C.J. Anderson. Looks like there's going to be nowhere to go as he goes outside, but he stops on a dime. And how about the left tackle? Ryan Harris stays with his block and allows him to cut back inside and get that big gain.
Well, there was some cut by Anderson, who now has 7 carries for 55 yards. They just had 3 plays going for 10, 10, and 11. They've moved some players around on the O-line. They've moved Garcia over to the right side. Peyton fakes going right, and he's tackled down. And again, it's James Harrison with the sack.
Well, they were going for the touchdown. The screen plays have been attacked by the Steelers, so this time they were going to go. Harrison gets inside and makes it. He was going to fake the screen and try to go down the field, but James Harrison all over it.
Boy, did he have C.J. Anderson on his heels. Just bulldozed right past him, loss of 7.
Pittsburgh defense was not fooled. Great job by the secondary and everybody not going for the pump fake by Peyton Manning.
Now back at the 29 and a 2nd and 17. They're blitzing with Allen. It's picked up. The pass was tipped, I believe, but caught with Latimer. His 2nd reception of the game goes for 6. Still going to be 3rd and long for Denver.
It's a little 4-man rush. Allen comes from the outside. The football was tipped on the inside. Couldn't see who hit it.
Actually, it just came out of his hand funny.
Came out of his hand, out the side of his hand. That's right.
So they're back to this old...
That's the tough side of the field, Jim. That is into the wind, coming towards you and across. That's where those outside throws can be hard.
The old 3rd down issue for them. Been problematic throughout. Timeout called. Timeout called by Manning. Face a 3rd and 11 here. Inside 3 minutes to go in the 3rd. The Broncos have not produced a touchdown in their last 20 postseason possessions since their first possession against Indianapolis in the divisional round last year. That's a span over 92 minutes of playing time in the postseason without finding the end zone. They've got a 3rd and 11 here. After burning a timeout, let's see what they come up with. Pittsburgh rushes 4. Down the sideline. Pass over the head of Norwood.
Excellent coverage, Antoine Blake. He just shows you, when he plays off, he'll give you the short route. But this time, it's all about him going one-on-one against Norwood, and Antoine Blake wins it.
So back to Brandon McManus, who's converted from 28, 41, and 51. This will be another 41-yard attempt. Kick by McManus. Dead center. 13-12 game now, Steelers. The NFL Pro Bowl gets you closer to the players and the action. Hall of Famers Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice select the teams at the Pro Bowl draft on Wednesday, January 27th. And you can watch the Pro Bowl live from Aloha Stadium on Sunday, January 31st on ESPN. Go to NFL.com/Pro Bowl to learn more. And one of the very first ever at ESPN, the great Jim Simpson passed away this week at the age of 88. Of course, I remember him from his days of covering the old AFL, many other things. He was the voice on radio of Super Bowl I. He called World Series actions, golf, so many of the old AFL games on NBC. Legendary voice and consummate gentleman. Jim Simpson was 88 years old. Our thoughts to all the family.
Well, you know, you look at this, the Steelers had the ball backed up, couldn't do anything with it. Defense came through once again, held them to a field goal, and
McManus's boot not returnable. Roethlisberger 12 out of 22 for 201 yards. So far in this game, the Steelers have not turned the football over. They've committed only 2 penalties. Is the kind of performance coming in shorthanded without the likes of Antonio Brown. This is the way they had to play this game.
Absolutely. I think that we saw that the last series, the respect they have for Denver's defense, the speed, the fact that he can do something, and they didn't want to make a mistake to turn this game and momentum completely away from what they established for the first 2.5 quarters.
Toussaint, the running back, then out of the gun. Pocket held up for him, and he got it to Coates. And Coates tries to issue a stiff arm challenge to Harris, and he's taken out of bounds. Another nice gain, though, for Coates. This one for 24.
Well, coming from the right side, Coates is inside. It takes so long. He gets such good protection. And boy, Ben Roethlisberger just so calm with everything around him. Gives Sammy Coates the extra time to get open.
His second catch. Roethlisberger telling us last night, this last month, Coates has looked spectacular in practice. Just hoping, he felt that coming on to the field for a game that it would click out here as well. First and 10 throw. A nice tackle by Harris. And a catch by Wheaton. So next Sunday, the championship games. The NFC is all set. The 1 and the 2. Arizona will be at Carolina. They met last year, actually, in the wild card round. 2 teams who have been to the Super Bowl in recent years. That'll be on Fox next Sunday. And we'll have before that the AFC championship game. Will it be Pittsburgh at New England, or will New England travel to Denver? We're going to find that out over the next 16.5 minutes of game action. 2nd and 4. Roethlisberger throws that away. I might add, all the flags coming in. Coates was the receiver over there. Bradley Roby says, "What did I do?"
Pass interference. Defense number 29. Automatic first down.
This is the first penalty of the game against the Broncos.
Well, it looks like he pushed him out of bounds as they're going deep down the field. It was a blitz. It's one-on-one contact after 10 yards, and he rides Sammy Coates out. That's a good call.
Did you feel that was catchable?
No, I did not think it was catchable. You know, the push out of bounds, Roethlisberger read it, threw it where he thought he had to. The wind.
First down at the 38. Open across the middle.
But what you're seeing here, is why Wade Phillips changed his strategy from the Week 15 game. And Jim, because you look at these guys and these receivers, they're dynamic, and if you play them too much, me against you, you're going to lose sooner or later. And they're trying to avoid that here today in this game, and tough to do because even with Antonio Brown out, a lot of places to go with the football.
2nd and 5. Toussaint gets a head start. He's got a first down at the 23. Ramon Foster, one of those who gave him a big lane.
Well, what happens is they got a linebacker instead of a linebacker. They got a safety in there. Ramon Foster is going to push T.J. Ward right out there. So that was a good call by Ben Roethlisberger. Change the play. If they're playing pass, we'll run it.
Steelers have already gained more yardage. We're not quite finished with the third quarter than the Broncos allow per game this season, best in the league. From the 24. Pressure. Roethlisberger. No chance. And a flag. And a ball is out. The ball is out. Antonio Smith falls on it. It was Shaq Barrett who hit Roethlisberger. Smith who recovered it.
The runner's ruled down by contact.
Plus we've got a flag as well, penalty marker.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, offense number 77. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, just getting ready to say, Jim, when you look at this offensive line today, 77, Marcus Gilbert, the right tackle, reaches up high, gets the face mask of Shaq Barrett. But Villanueva, the left tackle,
see if the
he's down before the ball comes out. It looks like from that angle.
Seems to be some discussion here.
Well, Gary,
do they really want to accept the penalty?
Denver is accepting the penalty, 1st and 25.
But to finish my thought, the offensive line for the Steelers, in a lot of tough passing situations today, they have come through, especially the tackles.
So they'll bring it back to the 39. Clock is now running. And Ben says we're going to head on to the 4th. With the lead, the Steelers in front. 13-12. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Here today we have some of those young athletes. Please direct your attention to the north end zone to recognize boys and girls from local NFL flag leagues who represent more than 300,000 athletes playing NFL flag powered by USA Football. To find a league near you, visit NFLflag.com. All right, Phil, we start the fourth quarter here. The Broncos accepted that penalty there at the end of the third. It's going to be 1st and 25. It could have been 2nd and 17. But Kubiak took the yardage, bringing the ball back to the 39.
It's a good point. I would have taken the sack and made it 2nd and 17.
I would have too.
Just that extra play always would concern me, especially when you're talking about Ben Roethlisberger being the opposing quarterback.
Todman is the running back next to Roethlisberger. He's going to pitch it to him. Todman reverses course. This may cost him. Staying with him was Ware. DeMarcus Ware decks him for a loss. And now that decision looks a whole lot better.
It sure does. But, you know, so hard this play. They're trying to get a little crack back to fool the defense, but it's hard to fool just so many fast guys on Denver's defense. They were not fooled by the fake going to the right wide and cutting back to the left.
It lost 5.
DeMarcus Ware once again good against the run.
Back to the 44 and a 2nd and 30. Pass sailed on him and was behind Wheaton. 3rd down.
Well, I think it got away from Ben Roethlisberger that time a little bit. He wants him to sit down because it was a zone. So if you saw that pass, there was nobody around Wheaton. Protection was good.
Has to get all the way to the 14 for the first.
Or try to get a pass somewhere to be in field goal range.
Got to be what they have designs on. This could do it. Bryant's got him in field goal range. Talib wraps him up along with Marshall. The field goal somewhere around 50, maybe a yard or 2 longer.
Well, Martavius Bryant probably cost himself 3 or 4 yards by bouncing it outside, trying to get extra yards.
How about this? They have decided, instead of going for what would be a 52-yard field goal with Boswell, they're going to punt it. Going to punt it with Jordan Berry. Interesting.
Yep, I definitely can understand it, Jim, just because of the wind conditions. They're kicking somewhat into the wind from right to left as you look at the offensive side.
Got a delay of game coming up here.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Okay, Berry now ready. They tried to rush him. Picked up. He boots it into the end zone on the fly. Just a net of 19. All right, the Broncos ready to break huddle, and going in this direction should be favorable for Peyton Manning.
I think so, especially if he throws the outside routes to his right. The wind can help you. It seems like all day, even for Ben Roethlisberger, those were the easier throws.
Here they come, Will Allen again. Peyton gets back on his feet and throws to an open man. It's Sanders. Peyton ducked to avoid the contact with Will Allen, realized he hadn't been touched, and then got up and completed the longest play of the game for the Broncos, 34 yards.
I know he was not touched. He went down, and I was going to say he gave himself up, and maybe, but he.
I tell you, there's a challenge flag coming out for precisely that reason.
But they're going to, maybe they thought he didn't give himself up because he got right up after he fell down.
Mike Carey is with us here.
Now, down by contact is the only thing that's reviewable here. If they're talking about giving himself up, that is not a reviewable aspect of replay.
That's probably why this discussion's going on so long.
Correct.
The play is not reviewable. As the runner went down, got back up, and without being down by contact. 1st down. There is no timeout charged on the play.
Will Allen came close to making just even a brush, a little contact, but he didn't. Saw it especially from this angle here.
If he would have nipped the jersey, Peyton Manning would have been down at that spot. Alert play by Peyton Manning. Knew that he wasn't touched, got up, got the big completion.
Yeah, 34 gained. Now with the Steelers 46.
Change in play, thinks it's a blitz.
They do blitz with Allen again with a sidearm throw, and it's not caught. Hillman, they had a similar drop in the first half with Anderson coming out to the right flat in the same direction.
Well, it's just another way of trying to get 4 rushers at Peyton Manning. That's what they did, and Hillman just took too long to get out there, turn around, and find the football. But you can put that on the list of drop passes.
Oh, a timeout called here by the Broncos. That's the second one they've used.
Charge timeout, Denver. 30-second
they took
timeout.
one on that 3rd and 11 in the 3rd quarter that really never materialized into anything except an incomplete pass. So that left with 1 here in the final 12:48 as we take a look at our nationwide Skycam.
Well, you're right, Jim. 2 timeouts. Regular season football, second half timeouts, you do everything you can not to use them up because of a situation like this. And playoff football, it's absolutely paramount not to make a mistake in communication or what you're doing and to use them, because we know the game's going to come down to the wire, and those timeouts are always valuable.
3 receivers to the right, Owen Daniels to the left. It's a handoff, Hillman. And he's tackled back at the 50. That timeout did not benefit the Broncos at all.
Well, what a look. 1 defensive lineman in the game. Here comes Will Allen once again. Oh, missed him. Number 20 to the inside.
It's a loss of 4 on the play.
So that's what kind of confuses you. That's why you see the rhythm of the offense is not what we expect from Peyton Manning and Denver, because of blitzes and looks like we just saw.
Here they come again. Pass away. And it's tackled. Thomas tackled at the 46. Just a 4-yard pickup. And Denver will punt.
This defense has gotten better over the end of the year. Here comes a corner blitz. That's what you like to do when the football is on the hash mark towards you. And if you're going to have those blitzes, be a sure tackler, and that's what we saw from the defense.
Colquitt. Flag is on the field. Wheaton fumbled it. The ball is loose. And it's recovered right on the goal line by Pittsburgh. They say for a touchback. Recovered by Ross Cockrell. Ross Cockrell with the recovery. There's a flag back at the line of scrimmage.
It's on Denver.
The ruling on the field is the ball was muffed, went in the end zone. It's still a kick. By rule, it is a touchback.
There still is a penalty marker down at the far side 48.
The foul's for illegal motion on the offense, number 36. The 5-yard penalty will be added from the 20-yard line. First down, Pittsburgh, timeout.
So they'll have it at the 25 out of the break. Not sure that ball should have been spotted to the 1. Inside the 1. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Clean Crisp Coors Light. State Farm. Find your agent at statefarm.com. And by the all-new 2016 Honda Civic. Biking down the 16th Street Mall in downtown Denver. This crowd is still barking about that call. Well, the Cockrell, looking at the replays during the break, really didn't gain full control of it until he did slide into the end zone. So it's brought out to the 20 plus the 5-yard penalty. Roethlisberger goes across the middle, and he's got Jesse James. And there's a flag in the area where he's tackled. That had been sitting there for a while. 27-yard play.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense number 54. Penalties decline, first down.
Great drive starter. What they do, they fake the screen outside and watch it go up the seam, goes around the linebacker. And again, it's like a reverse. Take advantage of the fact that we know they're fast. They're going to react to what they see. And Jesse James went inside, made a big catch.
Yeah, make that 22 on the play to James.
Right away, it changes field position.
It's the middle again. Wheaton slips through a tackle. And he has another first down, diving to the 40.
Well, let's just go back to how we started this game. What did we talk about? Can the receivers? Antonio Brown's out. What are they going to do? Number 11, Wheaton coming underneath. They create a little traffic jam for him. And Mike Tomlin, only in his words, what did he say? We know we have a Batman in Antonio Brown and some Robbins. We'll see if anybody can step up and be a Batman. Well, most of them have here today. Wide receivers doing a good job of getting open.
That picked up 13. Quick toss. Hayward Bay reaches down, grabs it, brought down at the 35. On Super Bowl Sunday, Pepsi presents the biggest concert of the year, the Pepsi Super Bowl 50 halftime show. And for the first time ever, Pepsi giving fans exclusive behind-the-scenes access as the show comes together. Go to Pepsi.com for more details.
And, you know, to go back to that, Mike Tomlin was saying, sometimes it's easy to be that second and third option, not a lot of pressure. Now that you got to be the first option, they're spreading the football around to all the guys today.
Here's a handoff to Toussaint. Ball is on the ground and recovered by Ware. Cody Wallace tried to fight for it. Looked like Ware had it. It was Roby who charted out of his hands. And it's a Denver recovery. Toussaint was just untouched for the first 6-7 yards of that run, and then Roby came up and knocked it out.
Sometimes you just got to call it a takeaway, and Roby just stuck his hand in there and knocked it out. I think it caught Toussaint by surprise.
First turnover of the game from either side.
Well, once again, the Denver defense, the Denver team, special teams, good field position for the Broncos offense.
They'll have it at the 35. C.J. Anderson unable to stay upright for very long. Early contact, gains 2. Not only is it a takeaway, the Steelers were showing signs of doing something with that drive. They were moving.
Yeah, they were. They had the rhythm, had the defense kind of on their heels.
Roethlisberger over there having a word of encouragement with Toussaint, trying to keep his head in the game with 9 minutes to play. 2nd and 8. There goes Anderson. He went off a big run. But out of bounds at the 35 and in field goal range of the flag. A flag all the way back at the 43 on the Denver side.
Offense number 79. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
On Schofield, and that wipes out a 28-yard Anderson run.
Well, the right tackle, Schofield, really had a good number 79. See him to the right. Reached around, had Lawrence Timmons. Well, what a job the blocks that time inside.
That is a spot foul, so it'll be replaying the down. A 2nd and 12 back at the 33.
But Vasquez, Paradis, all had tremendous blocks. And of course, easy to see, Schofield didn't need to reach out. The runner was going to go by Lawrence Timmons, even if he wasn't blocked. Peyton Manning called him in a blitz. That's why they had that big run.
The blitz with Allen again. Pass should have been intercepted. William Gay had jumped in front of Sanders.
Boy, he read it all the way. Top of your screen, number 22, William Gay. Reading the quarterback. Oh, man, he beats Sanders to the route. And Sanders, what a job. Gets his hand in there and knocks the interception away.
In-turn defender the last moment. Manning 19 out of 35 for 184 yards. Then a 3rd and 12. Here they come blitzing again from the secondary. Pass is caught by Fowler, who breaks off the tackle from Allen and is down at the 35. Benny Fowler for 31.
Beautiful throw that time. On the inside, bends it across. Boykin goes for the knockdown, misses it. Allen misses the tackle, and it was another unique rush. Peyton Manning never saw a safety coming free. If he'd have held on to it a second or more, it would have been a fumble.
That's Hillman. And he's decked after 3 by McClendon.
Of course, you got to know the score of the game, the situation. Denver's down 1. I don't care what they say. Mike Tomlin said he never talked about it this week for 1 second. The altitude, but on defense, Steelers have been out there a lot here in the second half.
Second and 7. Harrison looked to jump, and then it was Daniels who got a little flinchy.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 92. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Is that the first one today where his snap count has
number 1?
Number 1. That's pretty good by the Steelers defense, because Peyton Manning's usually, it seems like, good for 2 or 3 easily every game.
Second and 2. Hillman. Ridden down, but not until he picks up the 1st down at the 25. He said at the start that Peyton looked good in practice, as healthy as he's been in over a year. How do you think he's thrown the football today?
Well, he's thrown it okay. I'm not going to say he's thrown it great, but, you know, it's hard to judge it sometimes, too, because of the drop passes, which are a huge part of the football game. But he's done what he set out to do.
1st down carry. Taking it outside is Anderson. Good piece of tackling there by Lawrence Timmons.
You know, you play the game, you play the situations. That's what he's done well. He hasn't had a turnover. Got lucky. Could have had an interception. Great job by Sanders preventing it, but found the right guy too, Jim. You know, he is, can't say that he's really missed wide open opportunities down the field either.
No huddle here. 2nd and 6. Now he decides, instead of the gun, he'll take it direct from Paradis. There's Sanders with a stiff arm that picked up the 1st down. Delivered it to Cockrell.
It was a run play all the way, and look how far they're off. Cockrell so far back. Peyton Manning says, the heck with the run. Let's throw the quick screen outside. And look, you cannot tackle any receiver in this league high. They all are great with the straight arm. Even Emmanuel Sanders, who's not a big man, but boy, he's tough. And you saw how he used that straight arm to get some extra yards.
This is the first time the Broncos have been in the red zone since their first drive, a drive which had begun at the 30 of Pittsburgh. Nice wiggle. Hillman tackled down at the 9. It's William Gay tripping him up.
Talked about a defense getting tired. That's what it looks like out there a lot. All these runs. Sitting at the line of scrimmage as Peyton Manning goes back and forth, and Keith Butler, the defensive coordinator, hey, he knows it. He's trying everything to catch him off guard. To be honest, to this point, it's been a great job.
We move inside, 5 minutes to go in a game that will advance the winner to the AFC title game next Sunday. Hillman took advantage of a tiny crease, and he's got him 1st and goal to go. That was some run by Hillman, picked up 7.
69, Evan Mathis, in a nice little move by Hillman. Saw the block that he couldn't go inside. Cuts to the outside. Lawrence Timmons overruns it.
All set up by the Toussaint fumble. Now with 1st and goal. Hillman, the running back.
Watch it!
Hillman.
Wow.
That was some hit by Shazier.
It's like somebody just flew into our TV screen. Ryan Shazier. He plays so much. Number 50. Comes down inside.
Look at Hillman protecting that football, too.
That's a great job. Doesn't come off the field. I said to him last night, don't you get tired? Because it's so much running, the position he plays.
He's out now. It's Anderson. 2nd and goal. We give it to C.J. Anderson. He goes low, and he stopped about a foot short. Tackled by Dupree and Mitchell.
Well, here you go. Here's the call. Oh, they're going to hurry up.
Yep, they're running right to the line. Back to Anderson. Anderson fights for it, and he's across for the touchdown. Boy, there was contact. Looked like he was going to get stopped initially.
Boykin hit him in the backfield, couldn't stop him.
And that will go for 2, no doubt. Denver's first postseason touchdown in 23 possessions. Going back to the first drive a year ago in the divisional round.
Nice little block by Caldwell. The wide receiver helps, and the fact that Peyton Manning kind of went with the quick snap count and the quick play, I think that was just enough to catch him off guard to get that touchdown.
Now what will we do here? What will they do for the 2?
I think it's all going to depend on the defense. He'll read it. It's going to be run pass. Well, maybe not.
It's just taken his last time out.
I'm pretty sure they had 3 receivers right. The football was on the left hash.
And there is Archie Manning. He couldn't even watch.
Nope. Playing every play right along with Peyton, no question, like any father would.
Ware's recovery set up that drive.
Same formation, except this time they got the back in the backfield.
Move him into a slot. Stack 3 to the right. Quick throw. Demarius Thomas has the 2. Seven-point lead now for the Broncos. Beneficiaries of Toussaint's fumble, forced by Roby, recovered by Ware. And then Anderson powered it across. Thomas took it across for the 2-point conversion. Coming up, the Subway post-game show. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cowher, highlights and analysis of the game, and a look ahead to Championship Sunday on the Subway post-game show. McManus boots it deep enough to ensure the touchback and a drive beginning at the 20. The NFL on CBS, sponsored by Rocket Mortgage from Quicken Loans, push button mortgage, and by Subway and the turkey breast sandwich with no artificial preservatives. 4 years ago, these two played an overtime game, the first one to ever go to the new rules in overtime, and now Ben Roethlisberger looks to set up another OT affair here in Denver.
Pressure on the tackles in a situation like this. Crowd noise Good outside rushers. Can they hold up?
Steps up, finds his man. What a tackle. And that's a catch by Bryant, who held on. Stewart, who had the chop tackle on him. Gain of 17.
Yep, up at the line of scrimmage. There's going to be a space between Roby and Stewart. Ben Roethlisberger moved in the pocket and found it, made a good throw.
Ben, who last week led them to the game-winning field goal in the final minute, trying to pull off some more late game heroics. Again, it goes to Bryant, and Harris has hold of him. Then some assistance comes along. Gain of 3. Ben wants to get everybody set, get as many plays as he can on the north side of the 2-minute warning. Of course, the Steelers have all of their timeouts. Well, let's make that down to 2 now. They've just taken one. This divisional weekend, it began with the Patriots knocking out Kansas City. Brady and Gronkowski teaming up twice for touchdowns. How about Larry Fitzgerald last night in overtime? And how about the Hail Marys by Rodgers to get him to overtime? Just amazing. And then the Panthers raced out to a 31-0 lead and then beat Seattle 31-24. So again, next Sunday, it'll either be Pittsburgh at New England or New England at Denver for the AFC Championship. Arizona and Carolina will duel for the NFC title. Roethlisberger's hit his last 6 throws. They've added a couple of seconds on the clock. Pump fake goes underneath. Toussaint pushed back by T.J. Ward.
Plenty of time. Don't rush it where you make a mistake. Know it's 3rd down as a quarterback. Don't take the sack. Well, he's not going to get the play off. Took him too long from down the field to get back, to get in position.
2-minute warning. Big 3rd and 5 is coming up. Steelers head to the line of scrimmage, which is at the 43. Facing 3rd and 5, down 7. Pressure. Pass incomplete. DeMarcus Ware was on Roethlisberger's back when he unloaded it.
Yep, they put Villanueva, the left tackle, one-on-one with him, and they're getting pressure inside, and he actually hits his shoulder or his arm a little bit as he tries to throw to the crosser coming across.
So here we are at 4th down now. 4th and 5 for Tomlin and the Steelers.
Got a tight end and a running back both in there for protection to give Roethlisberger a little more time.
They get to him, and Roethlisberger tries to shuttle it to Gilbert. It's picked up by Miller. The play is ruled down. Von Miller celebrates. It's not going to be a touchdown. They ruled him down, but it was Miller who got to Roethlisberger first. And Ware was in there as well, and Denver takes over on downs.
Watch the right tackle. Von Miller finally makes a nice spin, gets to Roethlisberger, makes him move. But even if he had time, I did not see one person that was close to being open down the field. That's why Roethlisberger held the ball so long. Well, what a move by Von Miller at the right time.
As Peyton looking on, takes off the cape, comes out now to take a couple of snaps. Remember, still 2 timeouts for Pittsburgh. It's a loss of a couple by Anderson. Dupree brings him down. 1:45 to go. Tonight on CBS Begins with 60 Minutes. Sean Penn's interview with Charlie Rose about his secret trip to meet the drug lord El Chapo. Followed by new episodes of Madam Secretary and The Good Wife. Tonight only CBS. Coming out of the 2-minute warning, Pittsburgh faced 3rd and 5. And the Broncos on both 3rd and 4th downs got pressure on the quarterback.
Got pressure, and the big thing, the defensive backs, which is an outstanding group, came through in the pressure time. Nobody was open down the field. They ran a really interesting combination where they made it difficult for the defensive backs. They switched it off, covered everybody. Roethlisberger got sacked.
Back to Anderson. He is wrapped up by McClendon for no gain. And now the Steelers taking their final timeout with 1:41 to go. The Steelers were leading and driving when Toussaint had the ball knocked out of his hands by Roby, who saw that he was carrying it a little loosely.
Ball was away from his body, and a good run inside for the touchdown, 2-point conversion. But as you were watching that drive by the Steelers, it just had rhythm to it, and you're sitting there thinking, man, this could be the game-winning drive. But then Roby caused a fumble, and then Denver, running the football, marched down to score.
Really a role reversal for what happened last week for Pittsburgh with the Jeremy Hill fumble. 3rd and 11. Once again, it's Anderson who holds on to it with 2 hands. He had lost fumbles in both weeks 16 and 17 after not losing a fumble his entire career up to that point through 30-some-odd games. Okay, the night before Super Bowl 50, the NFL salutes the best players and plays of the season, a primetime star-studded football and entertainment special. NFL Honors, hosted by Conan O'Brien, Saturday, February 6th. Only CBS. So McManus comes onto the field. What's going to be a 45-yard attempt. Colquitt on the hold. Brewer snaps it back, and the kick. That's the kill shot. 10-point margin now for the Broncos. 5 field goals by McManus. Ties a playoff record. So many wacky things have happened in this postseason. If he fails to make that field goal, still would have had just a little under a minute to go if you're the Steelers.
Yep.
Down 7.
No timeouts. You're right. A lot of things could happen, but both defenses today played outstanding.
4th and 20 last night.
Yeah, that's right.
From the 2, complete 2 Hail Marys. I'm believing anything's possible now.
Ryan Shazier, you see him. He played great. Aqib Talib broke up a touchdown throw in the end zone. How big was that?
Look at McManus tying the record with these 5. With all these wind conditions today playing a factor, that's impressive. 14 unanswered points for Denver to lead it at 23-13.
Well, Jim, let's go back. The last 4th down play that you think if Pittsburgh can get that 1st down, they had timeouts, they could have maybe gone. As you look down the field, watch the in and out of the slot guy in the corner. What a great job of passing the 2 receivers off. That's where Ben Roethlisberger was looking. They covered it well. Calls the sack, wins the game.
Roethlisberger. It's got to be ruled incomplete. Wheaton never had control of it. A flag comes in. Going to be on the Denver defense.
Pass interference, defense number 43. Automatic 1st down.
Coming up after the game, the Subway post-game show. James Brown and all the crew standing by in our New York studio for their analysis of this game and a look ahead to the AFC title game. All coming up on the Subway post-game show.
Great effort by the Steelers. But when it all comes down to it, so many big plays by the Broncos defense.
What Pittsburgh's done this season, when you look at the body count, the casualties. What a catch there by Bryant. He had that catch last week in the end zone that I saw this week. Sports Illustrated rated it the 5th best postseason catch of all time.
Wow.
I knew it'd be on a list. Number 1 of all time, David Tyree.
Understandable Super Bowl.
Now you talk about Pouncey, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown back home watching, and Mike Tomlin was hopeful they could get past here. He felt Brown would be ready to play next week. As Bryant tackled by Marshall at the 29, and they hurry up. And then you talk about an effort like Ben Roethlisberger, over 300 yards once again against the Broncos. The only quarterback to do it this season against the #1 defense, and he's done it twice.
You know, you look at this, you got 20.
They got to bring out a field goal unit here.
I was going to say it, bring the kicking unit out. If you make it, at least if you onside kick and get the football, you'd have enough time for a couple throws. So really good job by Mike Tomlin paying attention to the game situation.
It'll be a 47-yard attempt for Boswell. To give them any hope, faint hope, but give them hope if he makes it. Be about 19 or 20 seconds left and try to recover an onside kick and convert a Hail Mary. Part one is complete. It's good. Chris Boswell from 47. Pittsburgh now will set up for an onside kick attempt. The Steelers have not had a successful onside since December of 2007 at Baltimore. I want to bring Jay Feely in again and tell me exactly what you would be doing in this situation.
Well, Chris Boswell, they're going to look to see what formation Denver sets up in. His best kick is the high hop. You want that to come down at 11 yards. If it comes too deep, 13, 14, you can't get to it. Give your big receivers a chance to get to the ball and make a play and get the ball back for your team.
This means the high hop. Let the ball go across the ground a little bit and makes that one little hit where it kicks it up in the air. Of course, we just heard from Jay Feely. That's the best thing he does.
Approaches it from the side. Here's the kick. Touched by a Pittsburgh player. And then recovered by Anderson back at the 39.
I thought the Pittsburgh player touched the ball too soon.
I did too. I thought it was about 9 yards out.
Yeah.
I believe it was Sean Spence. C.J. Anderson ends up with the football.
And if Pittsburgh would have recovered it, it would have been reviewed. Or it is reviewable. Oh, yeah. It's definitely short.
Well, he wasn't that far away from that traveling 10 yards and having a shot at it.
Right.
Really, I mean.
In fact, when you look at it, if he just lets it go, it looks like he would have had the best chance to get the ball.
He was the closest one to the football.
Everybody was so close to the sideline, but moot point.
Broncos and Patriots are going to battle for the AFC Championship next Sunday here in Denver. You're going to be hearing all the talk again about Brady Manning and the Brady Manning Bowl number 17. We've been there for 8 of them. They had that matchup on this field 2 years ago. And, of course, earlier this season, Peyton was out with injury. New England came here undefeated and took on Denver. Brock Osweiler led the Broncos to an overtime victory, 30-24.
Yeah, a lot of outstanding play today. Both defenses were outstanding. Peyton Manning, that late drive, almost like they did against San Diego, the running game was the difference.
Peyton Manning takes advantage of that fumble and takes the Broncos on a 6-minute and 52-second touchdown drive. 23-16 is the final. The Broncos advance. We got the 1 and the 2 in both the AFC and NFC championship games.
Well, you look at these games, New England got a lot of guys healthy that are back, so that's going to be an interesting matchup out here just to see the difference, the way New England played at the end of the year to where they are now. Arizona, Carolina, another great matchup. Can't wait to watch it.
All right, Tracy Wolfson, down to you.
Peyton, it was a struggle to move the ball all game. Your defense, though, gets the turnover, and then you guide them down for the touchdown. Could you feel that sense of urgency there?
Well, sure. Obviously, down in the fourth quarter, down in the home stretch, great play by our defense. They gave us some good opportunities all day. Pittsburgh did a great job down there in the red zone, keeping us from touchdowns, having to settle for field goals. They've been playing really well for the past 7 weeks or so. They've been stingy down there. So I think the best thing we did is we stayed patient all game. We didn't force anything. We didn't give them any short fields. And obviously, when we needed it, we had a big drive, and I got that touchdown that really put us up.
For you, with all the question marks, with all the distractions, with the injury, to be able to guide this team to the AFC Championship now?
Well, I think our defense is guiding us. Let's make that clear. They played great all season. They were dominant today against a high-powered offense. These guys scored 35 points against us a few weeks ago. Our defense answered the challenge, so I am honored to be a part of it, and looking forward to playing next week in the AFC Championship.
Next week, your 4th AFC Championship against Tom Brady. What can we expect for that one?
Well, it'll be the Broncos versus the Patriots, and we'll enjoy this one tonight. And I think you knew that answer was coming.
I did.
And to kind of quote Bill Belichick, we'll be on the New England, but I'll be talking about them on Wednesday.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
He's well versed with that question through the years, no question. It's not going to be about the two of them. They'll say that all week. It's about the Broncos and the Patriots. Took that final snap, by the way, and he gave the football to Demaryius Thomas. He said, give that to your mother. His mom watching him play football for the first time ever today.
Great story. Peyton Manning said it right. It was about patience. He showed it. It was the difference in the game because they did not turn the football over.
Denver wins it 23-16. Coming up, the Subway post-game show for Phil, Tracy, Mike Harry, and Jay Feely. Jim Nantz saying so long from Denver. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. James Brown and the crew in New York coming up after this.
The Subway postgame show is powered by Subway Restaurants, the official training restaurant of athletes everywhere. Subway, where winners eat.
And hello, everyone, and welcome back inside Studio 43 in the Subway postgame show. I'm James Brown alongside my guys, Tony, Coach Bart, and Boomer. And a reminder, you can also catch us online. Watch the Subway postgame show at cbssports.com.
Well, we talked about it at halftime. We said there were no turnovers leading into the second half. That's why the game was so close. One turnover leads to a touchdown for the Denver Broncos. C.J. Anderson had a pretty good game. Hey, I take my hat off to Ben Roethlisberger. Guy played his heart out. And the other thing, Martavis Bryant had a huge game in replace of Antonio Brown.
I tell you what, for a minute I was believing in coaching that slingshot. And then Marcus Ware makes the play of the game. You talk about the same thing and make you laugh and make you cry. Last week, Jeremy Hill gives up the ball. This week, Tresson gives up the ball. You know, the Denver Broncos have a lot to clean up if they can go and and think they can compete with the New England Patriots.
It'll be great to see Brady versus Manning, but I'll say this, hats off to Kevin Colbert for bringing in those players he did on that offensive side of the ball, offensive linemen, backup running backs, you know, depleted receiver core. The Pittsburgh Steelers showed a lot of heart in this game.
I tell you who gets the game ball here? The kicker, Brandon McManus. How well did he play? 5 for 5, put them in a position to win this game. Hats off to the kicker. Come on, we got to give the kicker some love.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Let's keep in mind the road to the Super Bowl. That would be Super Bowl 50 continues with the AFC Championship game next Sunday right here on CBS. Peyton Manning and the top seed Broncos will host Tom Brady and the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. It's Brady versus Manning 17 vying for a spot in historic Super Bowl 50. Our coverage begins at 2 Eastern with a special playoff edition of the NFL Today presented by Southwest Airlines. In the NFC Championship matchup, Carson Palmer will be making his first career championship game appearance, leading the Cardinals against Cam Newton and the Panthers. They'll be making their first title game appearance in 10 years. And tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and Sean Penn's interview with Charlie Rose about his secret trip to meet the drug lord El Chapo. That'll be followed by new episodes of Madam Secretary and The Good Wife, and that's all coming up tonight only on CBS. Folks, thank you so very much for tuning in. Tony will not have gloves on next week in Denver per coach. We'll see you next week from Denver.
Gloves.
Good night, everyone.
Cold, I'm wearing gloves.